Hello? Hello? Is it me? Oh no, hold on, I'm tangled. Ooh. Oh no, my things are messed up. I'm having a day, alright? Don't mind me. I was getting ready for this stream and I'm like, I don't even I don't even know. I don't I don't even know what's going on anymore. I don't like there's so many and so much to talk about that like I don't know where to start. What are we doing? What are we doing here? Oh, I am just being wrong. Hold on. No, cancel that. I'm oh god. Desktop capture. This one. This one. This one. There. Oh, wait. Also still wrong. Wait. Oh god. There we go. All right. Hi. Yeah. There we go. See, I fixed it. It's fine. Happy St. Patrick's Day, everybody! I'm not wearing green because, as an honorary goblin and as somebody who has grown up being chased around the school every St. Patty's Day because I was identified as a leprechaun, I feel like I am not obligated to wear green. But also, Happy St. Patty's Day because apparently, um, nope. Hold on. I gotta move this one too. This one? Nope. This one? There we go. Yeah, happy St. Patty's Day to, oh, Ireland, go fuck yourself, I guess. uh, I, I don't know what to tell you. Happy 200% tariffs. 26 billion euro or $28 billion worth of US goods. Uh, Happy St. Patty's Day. The world is on fucking fire. Speaking of fire, I should also put together our goal to unleash the spot. Why is the goal? Okay, listen. The goal, for whatever reason, in YouTube Studio, the goal is not part of engaging with your audience with like Q and A's. The goal is its own up at the top. So, whatever. Fine. All right. Goal is started. Just remember that the way unleashing the spice works is that if it's over 20, I do a full shot. If it's under 20, we just do the little stick. So yeah, happy St. Patrick's Day, everybody. I'm having I don't know. I'm not gonna go through this article. There's so much shit. There's so much shit. Ugh. Fucking Trump doesn't want to hurt Ireland, but he might. Ireland's visiting prime minister endures an excruciating 45 minutes in Trump's live TV star chamber as the US leader swings at Brussels, not Dublin. Fucking good God. In fairness, might force his hand. Like, and this is like this weird thing. The secretary of finance or whatever the fuck, Lutnick, whatever that fucking guy's name is, decided he wanted to like be the biggest weenie ever and say that Canada wasn't grateful to America. And and Charlie Angus, who is a premier in Canada, said, "Are you fucking kidding me?" Just live. That's just what he said. Are you fucking kidding me? Are you serious right now? Like this weird that you need to kiss the ring and be thankful to somebody who's threatening your sovereignty and threatening you. Like, this is the most the most like obvious abusive behavior ever. And then on top of that, you have this other problem or this other issue of this being like the dumbest shit I have ever seen in my life. So not only do you need to kiss the ring, but you need to be thankful that you're allowed to kiss the ring. Like, what is going on? What is happening? Oh, good God. You're going to go hide under a rock? Yeah, no, I hear you. Go hide under a rock. Get out of here. This place is everything sucks. Say it ain't so. Yeah, RNGD said a message from someone with an Irish grandmother to Trump. Trump, go feck yourself. Yeah, no, yep, yeah, fair. Hello, hi, welcome. Uh, Happy St. Patrick's Day. Enjoy your 200% tariff. I don't know. I don't know. There's unprecedented. Traditionally, it's not a law, it's not a requirement, but traditionally, when a new prime minister in Canada is sworn in, the first place they visit is America, right? Because we're friends, we're buddies, we do a lot together, we have a lot of stuff going on. Even my shirt is sideways. Like, what is happening? I'm falling apart. Ugh. There we go. What was I saying? Oh, yeah, so we have a new prime minister. For anybody who isn't aware, that was last week. I believe I talked about it last week. But if I didn't, we have a new prime minister. And for anybody who's confused, no, he's not an unelected official. We select our parties, we vote for our parties, then the parties have an internal vote about who's going to be in charge of the party. That's what happened. This isn't even the first time this has happened that we've had. And you don't have to be a prime minister, or you don't have to be an MP you don't have to be in parliament to be the prime minister. It's preferred, but it's not necessary. So, anyway, Mark Carney decided that he wasn't going to go visit America, and he actually said that out loud. He's like, why would I do that? It would kind of send a mixed message if I go and smile and shake hands with somebody who's threatening our sovereignty while I'm trying to say that, no, we're not, this isn't happening, we're not dealing with this. And you know what? I appreciate the consistency, or the attempt at consistency in the message, and not trying to play nice with like we don't negotiate with terrorists. But instead of going to America, which is traditionally the case, he has gone to the UK, mainly France. He's gone specifically to go speak to Macron, which I think is a fantastic idea, in my humble opinion. The way France has been handling themselves and the way they've stepped up, both in military showing, both to Ukraine as well as to the NATO and the European Union as a whole, through as well as the Paris Accords, as well as in Greenland. France has really done a lot even in the past like year. Let alone in the past few months, as of 2025, Trump has managed to fuck up so badly that he completely has flipped Canada's current election, like the opinions of Canadians. So our election was very much showing that the Conservatives were going to have to like very handedly win a majority, and Trump's actions have completely flipped that, and the Liberals are very much in line to win a minority, if not a majority. If the momentum stays the way it's going, and Trump continues to do what he's doing, and the Conservative Party continues to be a complete mess over it, we're gonna have a Liberal government. But alas, Canadian politics. By the way, for anybody who doesn't know, Canadians are notoriously slow at changing their political opinion. Trump cheats at golf. Oh, you did, but he just won. Dude spent like $3 million or something for his fucking golfing, while he's currently cutting $3 million to, like, I don't know, healthcare, child care, cancer research. Elon Musk being the most sad little boy has been very, very, very funny. read the articles in French. I'm getting there. I've been practicing. My French, my main struggle in French is my vocabulary isn't large enough. I don't know enough words. So like my understanding of conjugation is pretty good, and my like you, me, they, them, he, she, I, you plural. I'm usually on board with that. I just don't know enough words. Lula le, ton tate, son sase, mon mame. But alas, this is Mark Carney in France with Macron in Paris. I'm not gonna play the whole thing for you, but as you can see, what I'm fucking talking about. Fucking pronouns. You need to dump some D&D and League of Legends lore to learn French. Why don't I just learn the League of Legends lore and D&D lore in French? Huh? Huh? I don't need to drop anything, how dare you. There's also a really interesting thing here where the Republicans are trying to make Trump derangement syndrome a mental illness. Now, if you remember from the other day when we talked about Marcy, and Marcy was accusing me of having Trump derangement syndrome while displaying the very actions that she was taking in the tweet that she posted, which was clearly just like a ChatGPT copy-paste. And, I think Cooper makes a really interesting point here and says if being against Trump is legally defined as a mental illness, and mentally ill people cannot own weapons, and mentally ill people can be locked up without their consent, then what is happening here is an attempt to criminalize dissent. And this is an article from Newsweek. But that's terrifying. 5 Republican Minnesota state senators are set to introduce a bill tomorrow that would classify Trump derangement syndrome, or TDS, which they define as an acute onset of paranoia regarding the presidents of Donald Trump as a mental illness according to state documents. Throughout his presidential campaigns, Trump and his top communication advisors, including current White House press secretary and communications director, have repeatedly accused many critics of having a severe case of Trump derangement syndrome. He previously told Newsweek the phrase has also been used by Republican politicians and talk show hosts, among others. The bill seeks to classify TDS as a mental illness, raises concerns about the politicization of mental health diagnoses, which could be used to misappropriate care, diminish other mental health concerns, and suppress dissent and political expression. So here's the thing. If you want to talk about onset paranoia, right? I'm assuming I don't have to define paranoia here. The Republican Party, and specifically Trump, over the last handful of years, has explicitly gone out of its way to scare people. It's used a lot of fear-mongering. Oh, the deep state is coming for you. Oh, the deep state is taking advantage of you. Oh, these other countries are sending people from with mental health and sending rapists over into our country. Oh, the gay people are coming for your children. You can't be upset or call people out for being paranoid when you're telling them to be paranoid. It's also not paranoia to be concerned about the things that are actually happening. So, being concerned, like this article states, being concerned about the way this can be politicized and used to suppress dissent is not paranoia. That is a legitimate concern. Being concerned about ICE and ICE just picking random people that they want is not a paranoia. That is a thing that's happening and a reason to be concerned. And so, like, to try to say, like, if you... I don't... You see what I mean? There's just so much shit going on that I don't even know where to start. What are we doing? What do you even want me to talk about? Does that mean Aaron has GDS goblin derangement syndrome? Is the goblin in the room with you right now? Is the goblin under your bed? Did you check your closet? You called every rep in Minnesota and Waltz when you saw that bill pop up. Yeah, where was that? Sorry, where was this? This was, yeah, Minnesota. So yeah, Minnesota, get on it if you're in Minnesota. Even if you're not in Minnesota, you can still do that. Watch my video on Debate Hub with Landon if you want to know how to sort of word your concern. You can even take some of this Newsweek stuff, like, this bill is seeking to classify TDS as a mental illness raises concerns. You could literally just copy-paste this into your letter. You speaking Spanish sort of shit. Yeah. Absolutely. It's not paranoia if they're actually doing the things you're afraid of. Yes. It said in the Discord that is eerily similar to what Germany did in 1930s with the mandatory Judenstern? Which is that the yellow patch on the clothing. Yeah. Yep. Most conservatives are the most paranoid people in the world. Well, I mean, they've been kind of dragged that direction by their party. Maybe, don't identify yourself via a political party. Like, you could align yourself with a political party, but maybe don't make that your identity. That is one very MAGA thing, that it, like, the MAGA people identify as MAGA, and it's like part of who they are, and that's a thing, that's a decision. I I don't know. Also, it's only official if the patient willingly consults to a medical professional or court order because of committing crime. How are they going to enforce this? Well, considering that Trump recently said that boycotting Tesla was illegal, I don't think they're gonna have a hard time enforcing it. Oh, the MAGA clip of the person getting thrown out of the bar? Okay, hold on, let me see if I can find it. I saw it a minute ago. Is it in the Discord? I think it's in the Discord. Also, I had something I wanted to show you guys because I was like a little bit proud of myself, and like it's not perfect, but I wanted to show you guys because you guys can't see the full you can't see the full thing, like the high def. Check this out. Isn't it pretty? Isn't it pretty? Are you proud of me? I can make it bigger. Cool, right? I painted Melania. Oh, thank you for tagging me. I appreciate that. Cool, right? I was a little bit proud of myself. Let me just grab that. Oh, Spanx. Do I have to? Yeah, I'll just download it real quick. Pull it up. Yeah, did you guys know I'm an artist? Go figure. I'm finally getting back into painting. So, Magicus, I am working on your thing. I've just been delayed for obvious reasons. But alright. Let's come back over here. Oh, hold on. I gotta set it back because I gotta turn the audio on. I'm gonna turn this down a little bit so it's not gonna like blow your ears off. Alright, there we go.
I have a question.
No, we're not answering
Why?
questions. Get out
Why?
of the car.
Why?
Because you're a Trump supporter.
I know, but don't you guys want our money?
No, actually we don't.
Actually,
Get out of my bar right now.
unbelievable.
You're not welcome. I'm not fucking around. Get out of my bar.
Are you serious?
I'm dead serious. Out.
Because I'm wearing a Trump
Yes.
hat. That's wild.
I don't care. Get out.
We can call the police, or you can just leave.
You know this is like discrimination, right?
Oh, boo-hoo!
This is so
Boo
good.
fucking who? Get out of my bar.
Yeah, get out. This is literally the personification of exactly how you're supposed to handle that. That it be if it's a you don't let Nazis in your bar, otherwise it becomes a Nazi bar. And MAGA, I guess, does not like the fact that they're fascist, and do not like the fact that they're Nazis, and do not like the fact that nobody fucking likes you. Like, get out! No, nobody fucking wants you here. Good God. Oh, thank you. I appreciate your patience. And yes, Athens, I do need to do that. Trespassing is a real thing. Why do Trump supporters have no understanding of reality? I don't know, something about Trump derangement syndrome. Bye, Felicia. Hello and good evening to all my American friends. Wish you all the best standing up against your beautiful country and becoming an authoritarian regime. Stand up against all the willful ignorance. I salute you, sir! MAGA's not a protected class. You're not supposed to discriminate against people via like political affiliation, but that's for like hiring, not for service. And that's also like, if you're MAGA, you're probably doing things. And if you're doing things, I saw Adam Conover say something that was pretty funny, and he was talking about how people were tagging, like graffiti tagging Teslas. And he's like, well, what did you expect? It's the most taggable car ever. It's made of stainless steel and it's perfectly flat. How is a graffiti artist supposed to resist? And I think that there's something to be said about, like, what do you consider violence? And where, again, how long are you allowed to hit somebody before they hit you back? Now, I've been asking this question for a long period of time. Like, at least the past year and a half. I've been like, yeah, but how long are you supposed to get hit in the face? And Canada's just not taking any hits to the face. We're just like, oh, all right, we're just gonna go 1-for-1 on this. We're gonna elbows up here. And something that came up recently with how more aggressive America has been being, while also bringing people or sending their people onto Fox News to say, "Oh, Canada, calm down, Canada, you got to stop with this language. Don't be mean to us. This is aggressive. You need to step back." And Canada is just like, no. And there's a part of this elbows up analogy that people forget about. It's the second half of the analogy. By analogy, I mean this is a real thing. This is a story of a hockey player and one of the things that happened, and it's that over the boards. So when you check somebody, like, and you hit somebody in hockey, the boards are about on an average hockey player on skates is about a little bit over waist height. For me, they're like here, but for everybody else, they're like here. And when you there are places where there's no glass or like plexiglass. So when you check somebody, you can check them over the boards. And so that's considered, if you hit somebody hard enough, you will send them over the boards. That's what that is. However, there's another turn of the phrase, and it's when somebody gets checked over the board and the whole team goes overboard. So what happens is, or what happened in this particular scenario is, there was tension on the ice and a fight broke out. And the fight broke out because somebody got hit over the boards into their own team, because one of the places where there's no plexiglass is where the teams are sitting, so they can switch out. They checked somebody over the boards, and the whole team got up and went over the board to join the fight, and it was a whole team-on-team hockey fight. So normally there's only 5 players on each side of the hockey team allowed on the ice at the same time, and you get penalties if there's any fuckery with that. So, like, you have to be careful when you're switching team out. But in this case, all players from both teams were on the ice just slugging it out. And so that the second half of this elbows out thing is, not only are we going to elbow you, but also we're going to check you over the boards, and also our entire team is going to go over the board. And like, it's this idea of escalation, of like, we're not starting here. We're starting here, and if you're already feeling it, it's gonna get bad. And I think that's something that people haven't grasped onto yet. We haven't even started yet. The stock market is just one indication of instability. The actual effect to the consumer is not fully on board yet. There was a prediction that was 10% of Canadians would not travel to America during these tariffs. 10%, right? And there was already projecting that 10% was going to cost billions of dollars. I think it was 1.3 billion. Don't quote me on that though. I don't remember the exact number. The numbers coming out right now for tourism, 40%. 40% of Canadians have not traveled or canceled their travel. So the number of Canadians, not 10, 40. The American tourist industry is fucked. Like, fucked 7 ways to Sunday. Like, and you haven't even felt those numbers yet. Those haven't come through. That hasn't passed itself through yet. That's just the initial indicating numbers. Again, the prediction was 10%. Now the actual number is 40%. And that's likely only going to go up. And the reason that's going to go up is because the ones that are still going are either the ones that were already booked and didn't feel like they could cancel, or ones like, or things that were like business things that could not be changed, that will be shifted and changed in the future. You're going to lose over 50% of your fucking tourism. Holy fuck. If Elon wanted to help us out with budget, he'd turn over our literal hundreds of foreign military installations to the countries they're in. Ooh, that would be spicy. I mean, if Elon really wanted to help, he'd pay his fucking taxes. That's what he'd fucking do. Like, I like how I constantly see articles titled, quote, "Why the S&P correction may be over." Like, seriously, this isn't even started, and it's not going to stop just because Trump folds. Yeah, well, yeah, that's a whole other point, right? I should allow call-ins on this. Would you guys want that? Would you guys want to call in and chat with me? Anyway. Before I get distracted, that's a really interesting point, because like this is a irreparable damage has been done to the relationship between America and literally everywhere else. And there's like, where do I start with this? Yes, ooh, yes. All right, yeah, okay. I'll try and set that up, and we can do like a once a week call-in type thing, or maybe once a month. We'll see how it goes. I'll think about it and figure that out. What was I saying? Well, right, where do I start with this? So, Trump is a problem, but the bigger issue is how much this one guy was just able to do to America's standing on the world stage. So, like, he was already a problem in 2016, and nothing in the system was rectified or handled in a way that would disallow him in the future. It actually, things changed to enable him, right? So, for example, like the Supreme Court justices, right? The lack of impeachment yet, for example, like if this was a Democratic president, they'd be impeached already. There'd already be an impeachment process in place. The number of legal issues that have been brought forward. The amount of, like, the disconnect between, are we going to let the government stop or are we going to vote to let the government continue, and the issues with Chuck Schumer, right? So there's like, but there's a systematic problem. This is clearly something the American people do not want, right? They're not even feeling, they're feeling the effects of, like, the executive orders to, like, fire thousands of forestry workers and veterans and everybody and their fucking mother, saying that veterans don't deserve anything. They don't deserve jobs. They don't deserve help. They don't deserve anything. They've already outdone their usefulness. Like, what the fuck? What? Huh? People the DEI hire stuff. These things are being felt directly and rather quickly, but not the world stage stuff. The American military industrial complex is fucked. Something that America needs to understand about this is the military industrial complex that is one of the major, if not the major, structures of American economics is toast. Burnt toast. Completely toasted. Jack for 10 says the bigger problem is Trump is a side effect of a deeper cause. That alone will be what drives people's distrust of America regardless of Trump being in office. Yeah, because there's nothing stopping for another Trump from being in office, right? There's no promise to, he should have been in jail. Like, the tu quo que thing. Like, the American system did not stop Trump, period. And so because the system was unable to do what the system was supposed to do, you can't rely on the system, right? And the system is not currently doing what the system is supposed to do, at least not in a way that is fast enough, right? In a way that doesn't, if you get another person involved, that is able to ease the tension and ease the relations with the rest of the world, which the rest of the world wants, like Canada, France, the UK, everybody wants to have good relations with America. Like, nobody wants this, but they can't be trusted. So even if you get a guy in who's like, oh yeah, no, we're gonna undo all this, we're gonna take all this out, we're gonna start rebuilding that trust again, you have to change the system to make sure that this doesn't happen again. And then you're going to have to spend the next 50 plus years enforcing that and rebuilding that trust. But the reason I say the military industrial complex is fucked is because not only are you tariffing everybody, right? Trump has no friends. He has no friends in the world, because if you think that he's friends with Putin, he's not. Putin doesn't have friends either, right? So Russia's not going to help America. That's not going to happen. So but a lot of the money that the American military makes is because the Americans are the ones who control and sell a lot of the armaments, right? And a lot of systems are locked to America, right? So if Belgium, I don't know what, I shouldn't have picked Belgium. That's a bad choice. If another country buys a submarine, for example, from America, there is technology inside of the submarine that is American patented, that is American controlled. They have a guy that does the maintenance on it, which means America, in a pseudo fashion, has some sort of control over that armament. And they do that with a lot of their stuff. So, like, and the Americans have done this forever, and it's never really been a problem. But now everybody's like, this is a problem! Which means that nobody wants to buy American military gear. And if nobody wants to buy American military gear, right, Europeans are already rethinking buying American armaments because apparently the US can just disable it. Yes, the Americans can just disable it in some cases. There are workarounds to these things, but that's besides the point. It's just an additional hurdle that you do not want during wartime. It's a hurdle you don't want to have to, you shouldn't have to negotiate about. Like, look at the way America's been treating Zelensky, right? You don't want to have to deal with that. So nobody is going to be wanting to buy American because the Americas can't be trusted. So the only way that America gets to sell its military equipment is if it's selling its military equipment without these keys, these fiats, which everybody has just been working around because they were like, yeah, whatever, fine. But now everybody's like, no, absolutely not. So not only is to sell their own shit, America's going to have to change the way they build shit. They're going to have to readjust and renegotiate with everybody. And that's if anybody decides to work with them in the first place and not cut up their contracts, which is currently what's fucking happening. Yeah, refuse necessary software updates. Yeah, exactly. And so that this means that, and I do not think the American people understand this. And it's not because I think they're stupid, and it's not because I think that they don't know what's going on, and it's not that I think that, like, Americans just don't have a grasp of, like, what happens in the world. I think it's something that the mainstream media, which is, like, you know, when we're talking about mainstream media, we're mostly talking about American media. The American media I haven't seen anybody talking about this. The American people don't know because their information is in a billionaire chokehold. Not because they don't want to know, not because they're even not necessarily looking for the information. It's because their information is currently being fed to them through a dropper. They have no clue. They have no idea. Because the state is controlling their media. You know, like China. Trump will ban people from the White House the moment they say something he doesn't like. That, and if you are unaware, the president of the United States went in front and did a speech with the DOJ where he called and like CNN and like media outlets enemies. And he has had this rhetoric of the media is the enemy since 2016. But now he's saying it to the DOJ. He's saying it to the Department of Justice. He is telling the Department of Justice that this president does not believe in freedom of the press and that they should not. And the reason he brought this up was because they criticized him over criticisms. And the criticisms aren't even that bad. This man is a fucking sociopath. Speaking of which, this YouTube channel will likely disappear from American sites. Like, that's what's gonna happen. Like, you understand that, right? Like, YouTube is going to get throttled in America. Right? Like, you guys know this. You're aware of this. The media is protected under the First Amendment. You know, if the American system actually cared about the Constitution, which is currently being set on fire in the White House. One of the things that baffles me about a lot of this is, the number of Americans that think Canada is going to save them. Help us, Canada, you're our only hope. And we're like, Ian, get those underground railroads running again. Trump is literally ignoring federal court orders, making the claim that the executive branch gets to decide whether or not a court order has the basis in law. Judges are the basis in law. Don't tell me about the rules that Cheeto in charge is actively ignoring. Well, that's the thing. I do not understand why as soon as some of these executive orders that were obviously not constitutional were set, like, I know that a handful of them were already going to the court system, right? They were already going through the court system. I do not understand how this is not a cause for impeachment. I do not know what, like, maybe I'm wrong. Like, am I not understanding something? Again, I'm not American. Maybe there's something in the law that says there has to be some kind of legal statement to make it a reason to impeach somebody. Am I lost? Am I wrong? Should Trump not already have like 6 or 7 impeachment processes already in place right now? I'm moving to Canada. Chesh is gonna keep me in her closet. I got a pretty big closet. I can shove a bed in there. I can fit a bed in the in my closet. Money, freezing money already allocated by Congress is an impeachable offense. He's already got impeached for that exact same thing last time. Chesh, please take me in. I can cook. I can clean. Repeat the question. I was asking how, like, there are things that the president has done, that Donald has done, that are unconstitutional and have been already deemed unconstitutional, but there is yet been no impeachment brought forward. I'm asking if there's some kind of step that I'm not aware of that has to happen, and as to why there's been no impeachment process already put into place. Impeachment is usually called by the House and has to go through the Senate. Republicans control the government now. They're not going to impeach him, but it hasn't even been brought forward. Like, I'm not talking about whether or not it would pass. I'm talking about that it hasn't even been brought up. That's why the GOP tried voting to impeach Biden over total nonsense. Like, I don't understand. Are the Democrats just giving up out the gate? Like, they're not even bothering to try? Is that what's happening? Because, like, that just sounds like rolling over to authority. Because realistically, if it were me, I would just flood the fucking House and the Senate with impeachment processes. And just be like, well, here's one, and here's another 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 one. And basically they have nothing else that they can do because they're all busy dealing with these impeachments. It seems like the Dems have given up. That's unfortunate. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. Everything sucks. There's a lot of things that say that, like, Donald Trump doesn't have a mandate to cut Medicaid. Donald Trump didn't have a mandate to start trade wars with all of our allies, like all of America's allies. Donald Trump didn't have a mandate to do X, Y, or Z. And I'm like, yes, but maybe. One of the things that the American people voted for, the reason why Donald Trump was voted in, was because they wanted that they think the system doesn't work, and they think they need to burn it down to install a new one to make one that functions. That is a mandate, and that is what Donald Trump is doing. So, in that regard, from that perspective, this is what the American people voted for. The Republican leaders of the committee need to accept the impeachment for debate in committee. Then the Speaker of the House has to schedule it. Interesting. Okay. 3 steps. Supreme Court decides constitutionality. If the president does something unconstitutional, articles must be drafted. House passes the articles of impeachment. Senate dictates the action taken. Interesting. So, okay, so that's why the Dems are not bothering with it right now and are focusing, hopefully, on midterm elections. Is that my understanding? I think I'm being charitable by looking at it that way, but, you know, take what you can get, I guess. Oh, no. Current leadership isn't even willing to fight over the current CR for funding. Yeah, I don't know. Yes, this is what MAGA voted for. Correct. Okay, I understand. All right, thank you. Thank you for the clarification. This is why I love having live chat, because, like, I obviously don't know everything, and I obviously there are things and processes that I'll miss. Even in my own government, I'm not a poli-sci student, so there's always more. Thank you very much for the clarification, guys. I really do appreciate it. Why did they like mandate? Isn't that gay and woke? Probably, but they do very much. They all do like to stroke quite a bit. They can still impeach him for the stuff he's doing now, years from now. Well, great. All right. Well, I mean, if it's in the best interest of what the people want, I mean, looks like the midterm is the focus, and hopefully the Republican voters get disenfranchised enough because they were like, we wanted this to happen, but not to me. And hopefully enough leopard face eating has occurred to get something done. I don't know. Sometimes charges that would lead to impeachment take years to investigate. Yeah, but I mean, most of this is happening out in the open, right? Like there's rules, and Elon Musk specifically is very much breaking those rules. I do also know that there's a bunch of stuff tied up in court right now as well anyway, like the firing of a bunch of workers and veterans and stuff. Trump was already impeached twice last term and nothing happened. Yeah, oh, see, that's the thing. This is correct, Edward, 100%. This is exactly what I'm talking about. You completely nailed it on the head. Trump was already a problem in 2016. The world gave America a pass, being like, all right, well, remember, Trump put tariffs on people in his first term. That was one of the first things he did, was tariff Canada. And we were like, bruh, what the fuck? We overlooked it. The world, for the most part, overlooked it. And now, thinking that, well, the American process will handle this, and it didn't. It didn't. So, what do we do now? If articles were drafted now, it wouldn't even pass the House, let alone the Senate. Politically, Democrats need numbers midterms. All right, well, yeah, if the focus is the midterms, then the god damn it, the fucking Dems need to get their fucking house in order. They need to get their shit in line. Good God. He was convicted on 36 felony charges and nothing happened. How? I don't understand. Like, these are facts. These are things that I know, and these are things that are in my brain and live there for free, unfortunately. But, like, I guess I'm the one with Trump derangement syndrome. But if that's not the deep state, I don't know what is. And Canada said so uncivilized. Hey, listen, we've got our problems, all right? We're not great at everything. We're bad at shit. Remember, impeachment isn't the same thing as being taken out of office. It's just step one, and to vote to remove is totally separate. Oh, God. It's the bureaucracy. It's weirdly ironic that America has to think about protecting the world from itself. Yeah. I think the Dems are ruined now. I doubt they'll bounce back. I agree. Unfortunately, I think that watching them struggle over this, unless there is like a massive shift in like who is the talking head and the leader of the Democratic Party, whoever comes forward, and the fact that nobody is yet is very concerning. So like one of the things that one of the reasons why the political swing has swung the way it has in Canada is because of the strong leadership of Trudeau, right? So like Polyev, the conservatives were just ass blasting everybody. Like they were just doing like publicly. They were like, the public was behind them, and like people wanted what they were trying to sell. And what they were trying to sell was discount shit that they bought off of Trump from 2016, right? And some people realized it and some people didn't. But when Trump came into office and fucking threw Canada under the bus immediately, and the Conservative Party had almost nothing to say about it, and the Liberal Party and Justin Trudeau was like, absolutely not. We've done this before, and we're gonna do it again, and we have a plan, and this is exactly what we're fucking doing, and too fucking bad. There was, and as well as since he had already announced his resignation, right? So, because the big thing that the conservatives had was, oh, Justin Trudeau's such a bad fucking prime minister. Well, turns out he is the best prime minister for this fucking job, and now he's on his way out, and that's your fault. So now we've got Carney in, who's already on track and on board and doing exactly what Canadians fucking want him to be doing right now. And it's this strong leadership that has swung from these conservative, still MAGA-ish, imperialist, authoritarian ideologies all the way back over. So America just needs to take the cue and do the same thing. You need somebody who's going to be like a Trudeau. You need somebody who's going to be like a Carney, who's going to say, no, we will absolutely not stand for this. You do not have a mandate to do this. This is not what the American people want. And not only that, but you've actually betrayed exactly why they voted you in the first place. And then the Democrats need to fall in line with that rhetoric. Green, AOC, Crockett, and Waltz are doing a good job fighting back, and Bernie. AOC is doing her gosh darn best, but she's considered too radical to be the leader, despite the fact that her policy positions are overwhelmingly popular on their own merits. Pimplepunk, that's a really good point. People who voted for Donald Trump also voted for AOC. And there's one really, and their policies are completely different, but there's one connecting factor. They're not viewed as career politicians. AOC is viewed as a very real, authentic person. Trump is viewed as, I don't know why people think this, but Trump is viewed as earnest, like that's who he is. Whereas like a lot of other politicians are not viewed that way. So AOC, they would be very, very smart to put AOC as the leader and let her run with Bernie. Let Bernie and her run together, because Bernie will be more palatable to older school political style of rhetoric, and AOC will be able to bring with her this newer voice that is like, no, right? If they work together, they've got a really good chance, especially if you throw Waltz in there. Waltz has that very classic, very down-to-earth, very believable, here for the working person. But the rest of the Democratic Party needs to stop foo-fooing them and foo-fooing the left side of the fucking line, because that's what's been going on, right? There's a strong grassroots movements to get people to run as Democrats for complicated reasons to alter the Democratic Party. Well, Trump was convicted on charges, but no judge wanted to either bring charges nor wanted to continue the case so close to the elections. The political pressure was enough to stop this. I think Trump should have been. I said this while it was going on, while I was watching this. I don't remember if I said it on a stream or not. So we talk about this stuff on Debate Pub, but it was that the judge doesn't want to be the first judge to put a sitting president or a prior president or a president that's running in jail. He should have been in jail. He should have been held in contempt, for sure. He should have been in jail at least the second time or third time even. Hi, Landon. Welcome. Tim Walz finally started speaking up recently, but I think it's kind of a little too late. Okay, so here's something that's really interesting too. This is what I mean by the Americans don't know what's going on. Tim Walz has actually been incredibly active. He's just not getting attention because the media won't give it to him. Because the media is also fucking in a cuckold. So like AOC, Tim Walz, Bernie Sanders, all of them have been incredibly vocal and been out there and doing things, and the media just is not covering it. It's just not in the mainstream at all. So they're doing these things and they're just not getting the attention. At least even if you're pissed at Gavin Newsom, at least he's in the news. You know what I mean? Which is probably something that I should watch and review, and it's gonna bring me nothing but pain. Do you guys want to watch? Do you guys want to hang out with me and watch the Gavin Newsom podcasts? Cause I don't think I want to do that. Yeah, it doesn't make the ratings. It doesn't make the ratings, and also the most of mainstream media in America is owned by a handful of very, very, very rich people. And surprise, surprise, very, very, very rich people. I keep telling people who say nobody is protesting, they need to get a VPN. Yeah, there's a lot going on. Like Trump, the embassy in Switzerland. One of the embassies in the Nordic area was just like blockaded, ostensibly. Marco Rubio was fucking laughed at in Quebec, like blatantly, outwardly mocked by Canada. Like was it Greenland? I don't remember where it was. Greenland had its protests as well. There was protests outside of the Canadian embassy. The American embassy. Switzerland. No, I mean that area, not that Switzerland is Nordic. I just couldn't remember where. Also, I'm terrible at geography. Don't at me. Don't bully me. I'm bad, all right? But yeah, no, you're right. You need to get a Titan's at 100% correct here. You need get a VPN. Get a fucking VPN. Was it Greenland? I don't remember. The tiny red carpet for Rubio. The tiny red carpet into a puddle. Petty. Listen, one of the things that, because I mentioned Mark Carney not going to America and his explanation as to why earlier, right? But one of the things that I do think is very entertaining is that I really do think anybody going to negotiate and talk with Trump, with Donald, needs to wear sweatpants. Like, wear sweatpants and a hoodie. Please, I beg of you. If everybody on the world does this in solidarity with Ukraine, I would be so fucking happy. That would be great. That would be so good. I really hope that, like, Canada and France get like super buddy because I actually really enjoy Macron. I've watched a handful of his things, and I'm like, every time I see this man, I'm like, I like him. And I did hear that like the France was thinking about swinging and moving away from Macron in their next election as well. But I think the same thing that happened to Trudeau is happened to him, and I think the same swing is happening as well. So here's your chance to plug Proton VPN. I don't get sponsorships here. Do I look like somebody who's fucking palatable to... The only way I survive is by convincing you guys to make me drink spice. Alright? This is the only way for me. Don't forget to get Norway telling US military ships to fuck off. Yeah, like... America is... to be fair, this is what the American people voted for. They voted for these isolationist policies. They voted for this isolationist ideology. Right? It's the same as Brexit. This is what you voted for. You voted for this. You wanted to be America all by your lonesome, and now that's happening, and it hurts, doesn't it? And that sucks, doesn't it? Oops. You weren't happy with it the first time either. If you remember in 2016, it didn't work out. You didn't like it. Your economy went to shit. If France tilts away from Macron, it's going far right. Yeah, I think that there's like this authoritarian. There's been a swing to right wing stuff, and I think a large portion of that has to do with social media. But the swing to this right wing ideology, I think Trump and the sunlight of what is happening to America and exactly what that looks like is going to swing pretty much everybody else away from. is going to swing pretty much everybody else away from it. In my humble opinion. That's what happened in Germany. The AFD, ADF, AFD, whatever, had their weird oligarchy and Musk thing where he showed up on a big giant screen TV and he looked like the bad guy from fucking, well, I mean V for Vendetta, but Tron. He looked like the Master Control program from Tron. And needless to say, it went really poorly for them in the polls as soon as that happened. So America voted for self-harm. What else is new? Well, sucks even more to be one of those who actually acted against this and couldn't convince enough of my country people to pay attention. Yeah, it sucks. It sucks. This is what they wanted, and that's why I cannot and will not let the American voters off the hook. I'm tired of people saying the voters are brainwashed. They are not. This is what they wanted. I do think that this is what the American people wanted. A large majority of American people wanted this. The same way you had to accept that a large majority of people wanted Brexit. It's the same thing. I think that people knew what they were voting for, and they did get what they want. I think there were some things that they didn't. I think the realization isn't that this isn't what they voted for. They didn't get what they wanted. I think that the steps that are being taken to get what they want isn't what they thought they were going to be. Right? If that makes sense. So like they want this better economy, but they want to be isolationist. What Trump is doing is that. Right? He's isolating America from the world market. And that is what people wanted. And it is painful. And it's going to kill a lot of, people are dying because of this. People voted to not be sending aid overseas. So you voted for USAID to have its funding pulled. A decent chunk of voters just didn't bother to vote altogether out of protest. Most of us didn't want this. Well, I don't agree. I think that a lot of people chose not to vote, and that's their right. They're allowed to choose that. And these are the consequences. I think that there are people in the Democratic Party who are like, fine. This is what you voted for? Why would we fight it? We're not going to fight it. This is what you wanted. You get to live with the pain now. We tried. Yeah, get rid of Twitter if you can. Get rid of your Twitter. Get rid of your fucking... I want Twitter banned. I want Twitter banned in Canada. I want it banned. I want it out. Sadly, Donald enjoyed major or significant near majority support from a very wide set of voter demographics, sadly. Yep. I don't think you can say the majority of Americans didn't want this. I think you can say a lot of Americans didn't want this, and I think you can say a lot of Americans are enjoying having their face eaten by the leopard, and they don't like the process, and they don't like what's happening to them because of the thing that they said they wanted. But at the end of the day, you have to accept that a lot of the majority of Americans voted this in. So as much as I can appreciate Americans being like, sorry, Canada, we're really sorry to you guys, I'm just like, thanks. I appreciate it. Forced to divest like TikTok. Yeah, good point. What happened with Brexit is that the majority of the people that voted for it fell for Bojo, the clowns, and Farage. Is that... I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. Well, for their bullshit. Well, yeah, and that's the thing, right? It's... Trump sold this to the American people, and the American people bought it, right? And is it exactly what you ordered? Or is it exactly in the way that you ordered it? Getting tired of the American apology too. Listen, if you're an American and you want to protest this, besides the protesting on the street, don't buy American products. Good luck selling your Tesla, by the way. You're not gonna, it's gonna be very difficult for you to sell your Tesla right now. You might just want to, like, cut your losses and dump it. Broader spectrum of voters elected the U.S. House and gave the gentlemen of Putin senators a majority in the Senate. Yeah, well, this is what I mean. It's not just the presidency, it is the House and the Senate. This is what the majority of Americans wanted. The American people didn't protest who was fucking putting in the fucking who was put on the judicials, on the Supreme Court. You have people in the Supreme Court taking fucking bribes left and right, and what's happened to them? Nothing. They're still there. Yeah, me and Edward are on the same page here. Same page, man. What do you want the Democrats to do when this is what the majority of people want? They can't do anything. They have no power because the people voted for this. Be careful when you're wrecking your Cybertruck for insurance fraud. They can lock up and the glass is hard to get through, so rescuing you is nearly impossible. Listen, something Teslas just catch on fire sometimes. That's just a thing that they do. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell Americans right now. I think there is a chance that you have the power to do something. I don't think Trump can stop the midterms. I think they're too close. Hopefully. So the only thing that the American people can do right now that really fucking matters, besides your just general protesting, is and you know what everybody's telling you: write your congressperson, write your senator, bully your fucking local government. You need to vote in the and show up to these Republican areas and convince these people. And one of the things that needs to be understood is you need to convince them, not berate them. And those are different things. And as much as, like, Americans are angry and upset and are hurt by the people who directly voted for this thing, who are also now angry and upset and hurt, and who were already angry and upset before, you need to convince those people that what you want to do is better. And you're not going to convince those people that what you do is better if you're yelling at them for being wrong. As much as you might want to do that, you can do that after. You can convince them first, get things fixed, then you can berate them afterwards. I'm surprised Teslas are allowed in the UK, but the Cybertruck is not. Well, give it time. Give it time. Liberals don't vote enough. They don't show up in droves like the right. The right is very motivated. I'll give you that. The right has been very cohesive and motivated for a long time, and the Democrats have not been able to match that energy, let alone match the energy of, like, impeaching people over fucking nothing, like the fucking like the Republicans do. So the Democratic Party is just not nearly as aggressive. And maybe it's because they don't believe they have the mandate to do so, whereas the Republicans are confident that they do. USers and even just slow down the purchasing of buying only locally grown goods at brick and mortar stores. Yeah, not buying stuff from, like, major corporations is a good idea. All right, Feline's yelling at me. What is this? What are you sending me here? Oh, it's just a Tesla exploding. Yeah, Teslas just explode. Is this the one that exploded outside of Trump Tower? In Nevada? Yeah, Las Vegas. Yep. Yeah, just fucking explodes. I don't remember what the results of that investigation were. UK is Tesla's biggest buyer. That was something that was on Fox News, where the lady was like, "Oh, they don't buy big trucks in the UK, so we should tariff them more." And it's like the trucks aren't built for the UK. They're not the product market. What are you talking about? Problem is the DNC would have to offer items of substance like Medicare for all to motivate the liberals, and their donors explicitly are against that. Well, I don't know what to tell the Democrats. Do something. To be fair, fireworks and campfire fuel canisters were found in that Tesla from the investigation. Well, you know. The Democrats always say, quick, move to the right. That didn't work last time or any time before that, so surely it will work this time. Yeah, capitulating to the right is a problem. Again, like I said, I think it would be to the Democrats in America's best interest to take a page out of what happened in Canada with that hefty fucking swing. And will that swing come to fruition? I don't know. Will Carney win a majority like he is en route to do if the swing continues the way it is currently swinging? Yes, if it continues. It might not, but the swing itself is significant enough to get a solid idea of what the people in Canada are seeing and what the people in Canada are wanting. And America is in the position to do the exact same thing, but they need to have a leader in place that is willing and able to be like, no, this is about the people. It really flies in the face and is insulting to the American people for a Democrat to come out. Somebody who's like a career Democrat, who's been taking money from big corporations, like these central Democrats, to come forward and say, they don't care about you. They only care about the billionaires. They don't care about you, the people, when none of these Democrats ever showed up in these rural states. They didn't show up to talk to these people. They're going to do so now, but they're going to have to eat fucking humble pie to do it, and they should. And they need to stop being concerned about what the billionaires want, because guess what? The billionaire donors don't like what Trump's doing either. So take advantage of it and grow some balls. Billionaires have spent decades chipping away at every regulation that would have stopped them from spreading outright lies in the media, and we're seeing the culmination of that now. Yeah, and I think this is only the beginning. It's only going to get worse. Again, unless even if it's not even DNC, make a new party. I don't fucking care. Make a new one. Call it, like, the New Democrats or something. I don't fucking care. Call it the Liberals. Just own the name Libs. Whatever. And just fucking go. Because, like, if you're gonna do it, you need to do it right fucking now. Capitulating to regressive politicians is literally one of the dumbest things a person can do. The politicians are never smart enough to understand that the votes they get aren't a mandate. Do not negotiate with terrorists. I like watching Elon lose money. I'm not sure how happy he is about it, though. Do you guys want to see depressed Elon Musk? Hold on. He did an interview. Let's see if I can pull it up. Oh yeah, there was the thing from 2 years ago where... Hold on. We're gonna do a comparative here. Where is the... Here it is. Okay, so I'm gonna show you this one first. And then I'm gonna show you this one first, and then I'm gonna switch to the other one and show you. So this one is from 2 years ago, from Insiders. There you go. All right, check this out.
Elon Musk, I think you have 156 million.
Okay, hold on. I can't hear it. Why don't I hear it? Why me no hear this me please? Give to me. I don't like that I don't hear. Oh! That's why. That makes sense. Oh. Alright. Huh.
Million search results.
Really?
What? I can't hear vmix. Why don't I hear vmix? Ah! I found it. I found it. We're good. I fixed it. Everything's a mess today. Alright, here we go.
If you Google Elon Musk, I think you have 156 million search results.
Really?
76 million Twitter followers. You're definitely one of the most popular people on earth. Is popularity a pleasure or a liability for you?
Well, it makes it difficult to go buy a coffee at the corner store, that's for sure. So it's hard to go around places, you know. I used to be able to just, you know, go to the store or walk down the street.
Does this sound fake to anybody else? Does this not sound like something like a celebrity would say, and so he's just copying what the, like, this doesn't sound real to you? You let me know. You let me know. 1 second. Yeah. Like, this sounds fake, right? Like, that doesn't sound like this is a real experience that he's having. Yeah, popular, yeah. Well-known. Popular, not necessarily infamous, maybe. SpaceX can't really fail so long as the government keeps shoving money into it despite how many rockets blow up. Yeah, if you wanted to really cut spending, cutting off the carbon credits and cutting off the SpaceX. Anyway, this sounds like really fake to me. This sounds like this is just something that like somebody else has said and he's just thinking of that and he's just saying what he thinks he should say. But that's just me.
Street, and now it's quite difficult to do that. It's hard for me to go to a restaurant. And if I do, I just try to find a corner table and that's kind of dimly lit or something where I can sort of stay out of the way.
You said that you cannot be and don't want to be alone. I very much share that feeling.
Yeah.
Where does it come from?
I think it's just a natural human reaction. I mean, most people
A
don't.
lot of people are happy if they are alone.
I really? That's, I think most people are not happy being alone.
Do you feel lonely?
I mean, there are times when I feel lonely, yes. But I mean, I think it's pretty basic. Like if I'm, say, working on the Starship rocket down at, you know, South Texas, and I'm just staying in my little house by myself, especially if I forget my dog, you know, if my...
How do you forget your dog, first off? What? Elon has so many children. He has so many children. He works with hundreds of people work at SpaceX. Hundreds of people work at Tesla. Hundreds of people work for Twitter. Why are you lonely? Why does nobody want to hang out with you? Again, this interview is from 2 years ago. 2 years ago. Motherfucker! What are you doing? I think this might be a you problem. 2 years ago-ish. April 26th, 2022. If you want to be specific. He has a ton of kids and none of them want to spend any time with him because he's a fucking terrible father. Yeah, go figure!
My dog is not with me, then I feel quite lonely because I'm just in a little house by myself with not even a dog.
Do you
Again, I ask you, how do you forget your dog? That's something I don't understand. Especially if you're somebody who feels lonely and fears loneliness and doesn't want to be by yourself ever. What?
Do you see any danger that Elon Musk could be regulated because of
Regulated
being
to
too
do
big?
what? Like I have too much power personally or something?
Well, I mean, if you build in many sectors that are absolutely crucial to society, very dominant.
See you on Mars, suckers. Just kidding.
That's the option then. You once said on Mars.
He literally just said if he was being regulated by the government, he would just leave. Two years ago, there was talk about him already having too much power, and now he's fucking jerking off in the White House. Like, what the fuck are we doing?
If there's human life, there should be direct democracy.
Yes, I think direct democracy is less susceptible to corruption than representative democracy. I mean, the other recommendations that I'd say like, any laws need to be short enough that everyone can read them as well. And there should be some, it should be easier to get rid of a law than make one.
You have recently
Do you guys believe that that's true? That direct democracy is less susceptible to corruption? Because I don't think I agree with that. That, yeah, he bought an election. Not only did he buy an election, but also he did it utilizing the cult of personality, utilizing his own cult of personality and tying it to Trump, who also had a cult of personality. And is it not easier to corrupt one person as opposed to a bunch? Bro doesn't even believe in democracy. Yes, that also. Again, I would like to remind everybody that Elon Musk's grandparents fled Canada because they were part of the Nazi Party. And the Nazi Party Canada was like, no, fuck you. So they fled to South Africa. Apartheid South Africa, specifically. Didn't Elon give a ton of money to Nazi running or something in Germany? That the AFD party, ADF party? I can't remember which. I think it's AFD. Yeah. Direct democracy is more susceptible to populist and cult of personality. Oh, wow. That sounds similar to the thing I just said. How would an advisory board work in a direct democracy? How would a hearing work? How would committees work, etc.? Yeah, next question. You're an unelected bureaucrat, Elon. Who voted for you? What's the direct democracy there? Or is it the direct democracy that people voted for Trump, therefore you're allowed to do whatever you want because you gave him the most money?
Presented Optimus,
yes.
human robot, and you shared great expectations what that could do for the world. Could you imagine that one day we would be able to download our human brain capacity into a Optimus?
Yes. I think that is, I'm not saying this is, I think it is possible, I think, to do that. It is possible.
Which would be a different way of eternal life, because we would also download our personalities into a body.
Yes, we could download the things that we believe make ourselves unique. Now, of course, if you're not in a body anymore, there's definitely going to be some difference there, you know. But as far as preserving our memories,
let's just passively roll over that. All right. Well, let's take a look. This is 3 days ago. This is Elon 3 days ago. All right.
Gone through a long list of absurd things. Why are the 20 million people who are definitely dead marked as alive in the Social Security database? Hundreds of millions of dollars of Small Business Administration loans were given out to people aged 11 and under, according to the Social Security. Like, these must be some very enterprising 8-year-olds.
That's a pretty strong 150-year-old.
Yes, exactly. The president said we have an enormous number of people marked as alive who are 160.
Well, did the president say that, or did your investigation show those numbers? And also, how did you finish investigating that so quickly? Wow, it's almost like you're full of shit.
He didn't know the country was that healthy.
Behind closed doors on a news interview, Elon Musk just dropped a bombshell about what he's discovered in America's spending records. The revelations you're about to hear have sent shockwaves through Washington's corridors of power, challenging decades of...
There have been many part of the government. You saw a lot of that. If you look at the Inspector General reports and the Government Accountability Office, there have been many audits that have pointed out that there's a tremendous amount of waste and fraud in the government. In fact, there was a report issued by the GAO, the Government Accountability Office, last year. So during the Biden administration, which estimated federal government fraud to be $500 billion.
Today, you're about to witness the exact moments when the world's richest man exposed the shocking truth about where your tax dollars are money to at least the Department of Government like...
All right, we welcome to the show and a special interview with Mr. Elon Musk, who, of course, is famed Trump advisor, CEO of Tesla.
I just want to, for context here, this is a channel called Visionary with 245,000 subscribers that is just spewing this horseshit that I'm skipping past so we can see the actual interview. They edited out his stutter. He stutters a lot. I wonder if I can find, like, just specifically... Because, like, look at this title. I wonder if I can find, this is what I'm looking for. I want to see if I can find just the interview. Oh, yeah, and he Don Lemon asked him a fucking question, and then he got rid of Don Lemon. That was a thing that happened. Sorry, who was this? Washington? No, that just says Washington. Where was this interview? Who was this with? Government... Let's see if I can find, maybe if I just put 2025, I'll be able to find it. Let's try that. Yeah, fucking Visionary's the first one that comes up with 37,000 views. It might be because I just searched it though. Elon Musk interview collapses, goes full right replacement. I just want to see the interview. Oh, it was Fox. Maybe it's here. Let's try this one.
All right, we welcome to the show and a special
interview
with Mr. Elon Musk, who, of course, is famed Trump advisor, CEO of Tesla, SpaceX, chair of X Corp. Elon, thank you for doing this. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
I want to begin, but among other things, everyone's attacking you for your position. What are you doing in the government? There was a cyber attack on X today, which shut it down and may have been foreign sourced.
Yes.
It's a big story. You want to give us a moment on that?
Well, we're not sure exactly what happened, but there was a massive cyber attack to try to bring down the X system.
We're not sure what happened. If I recall correctly, people were blaming Ukraine. And then Anonymous were the ones that took credit for it. So, you know. Oh, this one, it's so awkward. Yeah.
With IP addresses originating in the Ukraine area.
Oh, well, so that's your suspicion. Is the website, is the internet up? Is it up yet?
It's up, yeah.
It's up yet. Okay, good. But
hey, how does this war-torn country that you're supposedly supplying the internet for able to fucking cyberbully you? What a fucking gaffe. This was from 6 days ago, by the way.
But I just was looking back. Let me see if I get this right. They're setting fire to various Tesla charging stations near Boston. Shots were fired at a Tesla dealership in Oregon. Various nonviolent...
Shots fired, not a metaphor.
Shots fired, yes. Downtown New York, marching against the Tesla showroom. Your stock...
Fucker's laughing at his own joke.
is way down. You've been criticized left and right.
But look on the bright side.
I mean, why are you doing this?
Always
That's
look on
really what
the
people wanna
the
know.
bright side of life.
Yes, I'm an optimist.
But besides that,
Yes, I mean,
how's your day?
what motivates you to do this?
Was the opera good?
It's tough sledding.
Yeah, it is tough sledding. But I think we're doing the right thing here.
Maybe I'm misreading Elon here. I think he's trying to use humor to cope and not have to take serious the very serious things that he is doing that have directly caused the death of many a people. Both Americans and non-Americans, particularly with USAID. I've regularly been watching him fucking be like saying something that's supposed to be funny and literally nobody in the room fucking laughs.
You know, there's been a tremendous amount of waste and fraud in the government. You know, when you're part of the government, you saw a lot of that, and there's been, you know, if you look at the Inspector General reports and the Government Accountability Office, there have been many audits that have pointed out that there's a tremendous amount of waste and fraud in the government. In fact, there was a report issued by the GAO, the Government Accountability Office, last year. So during the Biden administration, which estimated the federal government fraud to be $500 billion. So just because.
And Pibble Monk says for 5, part of the reason these lies are working is that a lot of Americans assume anyone on disability or welfare are running a scam. Yeah, they're like, oh, well, you could work and you just don't want to. Like, particularly with mental health issues or disabilities that are not visual. They're just like, oh, you just don't want to work. I mean, they said that about veterans, too. They were like, oh, veterans just don't want to work. And it's like, you're fucking insane. Jesus Christ.
That's not a Trump administration thing, that's a Biden administration thing. So what we're trying to do is get that number down to a much smaller figure, save money for the.
How does cutting cancer research do that? How does stopping veterans from having jobs do that? How does cutting national parks do that, by the way? National parks spend about, from my understanding, about $3 billion in maintaining national parks and the people who take care of them, etc., etc., etc. And they bring in $55 billion. You're cutting the shit that actually runs a profit. If your concern is cutting waste, fraud, and abuse, and you want to make more government money, why are you cutting the thing that makes the government money? I know the answer to this, by the way. The answer is you want to get rid of the protections and let your billionaire buddies and millionaire buddies do whatever they want with the space and the conservation parks. And like that's what do you think freeing up our lumber means? Good God. Canada has an incredibly healthy fucking lumber economy. It's because we farm our trees the same way you farm anything else. And it has a cycle. It's basically free money. And they don't want it because they want it privatized.
For the American taxpayer, stop money being spent on things that I think very few taxpayers would agree make sense.
Oh, you mean like cancer research and the national parks, which, by the way, according to polling, the cancer research is something that people want, and so is the fucking so are the national parks. Who did you ask, Elon? Mr. Lonely? Who did you ask? You don't have a mandate. You didn't do a poll. You didn't fucking ask anybody.
Transgender animal surgeries, or why are we spending money?
Oh my god, the fucking trans rats! Alright, we're gonna have to go over this real quick. Yeah, that's not what's happening. There's no transgender animal surgery happening. Jesus fucking Christ. You wanna talk about wasted money? Chimp murderer over here with his fucking chips. That's yes, the transgenic mice, not transgender mice. For fuck's sakes. Oh god, do I really need let's pull up the transgenic mice, shall we? Good god. I can't believe I'm doing this. I cannot believe I'm fucking doing this. Genetically altered mice revolutionary research resource. Important as transgenic mice are, they really have are really the tip of the iceberg when compared with what we are doing in the next few years. Several hundred mouse stocks containing mutations have been used for a long time as a model for human disease and for the study of metabolic processes. Traditionally, the mutations have been spontaneous or induced by chemicals or radiation. Recently, scientists have gained the ability to create mutant strains by integrating foreign DNA with increasing specificity into the genome of mouse cells. Such transgenes can be added at random to the genome. Offspring of the resulting mouse express the trait coded for by the foreign DNA. Alternatively, mutations can be targeted at a specific loci to produce knockout mice which do not express the gene or otherwise to alter gene expression. Those approaches are now revolutionizing genetic research. Where does this say anything about gender? How triggered do you have to be by the term trans? Transcendental, transatlantic, transmutation. Holy shit. Unfucking believable fucking transgendered mice, you fuckwit. You absolute fucking buffoon. Are you serious? This is a man we're supposed to be trusting with brain implanting chips and space exploration and anything ever? Trans-American? Transformers? Bigots in disguise? Transfer? Transition period of America? Oh. Good God. You fucking moron. This isn't even bigotry. This is just blatant stupidity for the sake of power. That's all this is. This isn't even, I can't even call this bigotry. It's just fucking recession. That's what this is. It's recession. Good God.
Why are American tax dollars being spent on this?
The short answer is for the study of disease and genome research to help humans deal with genetic disorders and diseases. You recession. Fucking concave brain over here.
Presidents are gone through a long list of absurd things. Why are there 20 million people who are...
Sorry, Baba got me. The transition of power. The peaceful transition of power. Ah!
Definitely dead, marked as alive in the Social Security database. Why were hundreds of millions of dollars of small business administration loans were given out to people aged 11 and under, according to the Social Security? I mean, like, these must be some very enterprising 8-year-olds, you know.
Yeah, one of the things with some of these errors that they're extrapolating off of, because that's what's happening, right? He's taking a piece of kind of true information and then blowing it up into disinformation. As you know, the best way to lie is to use a piece of true information. The true piece of information is there were people that were in the database that shouldn't be in the database, that should be removed from the database. However, these people were not getting checks. They were in the database, but there were markers that were making sure that these checks were never going anywhere. And it was more costly to fix the program and go through and clean it all out than to and do what Elon is doing than it is to just flag it as an error and continue on with your day. So realistically, what Elon is proposing to do is to spend more money in the government for the sake of bureaucracy unnecessarily to fix a problem that's not actually a real problem. But he's trying to pretend it's a real problem so he can justify his abuse of power and hostile takeover of the American government. Which again, I will say, I do think that the American people voted for this. I don't think the American people voted for him. I think those are different things.
That's a pretty strong 150-year-olds.
Yes, exactly. As the president said, we have an enormous number of people marked as alive who are 160. He didn't know the country was that healthy.
Yes. So demystify this. How do you do it? Okay. How big is your team?
Yeah.
Where'd you recruit most of them from? And what is it that makes you choose, the Treasury or Social Security or USAID? How does it?
You're really, it's Fox News, right? So of course Fox is going to softball him and say, oh, how do you choose your team? You mean the 20-year-olds with, no fucking security, one of which was fired from a workplace because he violated the security of the system he was working on? Those guys? Transistor, transfiguration, transliteration, transstability, is that transpirational? Transplantation, transportation, transgression, transmutation, transcendental, transcription, translation. It's just all words that start with trans. They were a package and we all knew it. Maybe. Definitely by the end of the election for sure. There was that time on, I think it was Tucker Carlson that Elon was talking to, where he said if Donald doesn't win, he's screwed. Which again, we go back to that interview from 2 years ago when he said that he was concerned, what the concerning thing about him being regulated was. Yeah, if Donald Trump did not win this last election, which is kind of sketchy on its face for a couple of different reasons, he was the amount of lawsuits that he had coming from states. He was probably not going to continue getting his Tesla was going to go under. He had these issues, which we're still watching Tesla drop like a rock. He was going to lose the SpaceX contract. Let alone his interference in the election, which could have legal ramifications and could still have legal ramifications.
It work. Let the public know, please.
Right. Well, we just basically follow the money. We look at the president's executive orders, and we also just follow the money. So we started looking closely at USAID because they were completely violating the president's executive orders to suspend foreign aid. What's called foreign aid, but in our view is a lot of corruption.
Oh, sorry. That's not a violation. There's a constitutional rule that says that you're not allowed to just stop money that has already been approved by Congress. So that's not a violation at all. It just makes Elon sound like he doesn't understand how the American government functions. He's describing how he wants it to function, not the way it's actually supposed to function. It doesn't surprise me that a dictator oligarch has a different idea of the way he wants things to work. Landon says, I will point out that I was sounding the alarm with Space Karen years ago. Now I have zero chance of ever getting on the same phone call with this cult of personality scam artist, allegedly. Yeah, I mean, probably for the best. I think there's been a lot of people who have been sounding the alarm for fucking guy who thinks he's fucking Space Jesus for a while now, and it's just the Elon's not untouchable. All right, let me get big here for a second. Listen, Elon's not untouchable, okay? And we're gonna see that in this interview, and it's important for people to understand that he is just a guy. He's just a guy. Like everybody else. He's just a guy. He's an evil fucking motherfucker. But he's a human. And he's not untouchable. And I think people look at him and put him on a pedestal either for good or for bad. Some people will put him on a pedestal to say, wow, he's such a great businessman. Wow, he's amazing at this, that, or the other thing, etc., etc. And some people will be like, oh, wow, he's got so much money, he can just do whatever he wants. He is not untouchable. And it's just a matter of knowing how to approach what you're doing. But the only way you know how to approach what you're doing is if you actually look the abyss in the eyes, let it look back at you, and acknowledge it for what it is. If you don't acknowledge it for what it is, you're never going to get anywhere. You have to acknowledge that the American people voted for this. And if you don't acknowledge that the American people voted for this, you're never going to know how to change their minds.
Corruption. So what we saw there is just a tremendous amount of money being sent to non-governmental organizations. But actually, this, by the way, is I think one of the biggest sources of fraud in the world is government-funded non-governmental organizations. This is a gigantic fraud loophole.
That's you.
The government can give money to an NGO, and then there are no controls over that NGO. So they've given billions of dollars, in fact, we estimate tens of billions of dollars to NGOs that are essentially scams. We're trying to put a stop to that.
Don't worry, you'll see as we go on. He is certainly touchable. But one of my favorite nicknames for Elon, I have to say, was a let me see if I can find an image of it. There was a parade in Germany. And they had the best float. Let me see if I can find it. Nope, that's not it. Here it is. So, as you can see, it is Elon Musk with Napoleon. He's got a diaper on. He's got bullshit. He's got shit coming out of him, X microphone. And the American flag is a swastika. And he's being chased by a guy in a straitjacket. Now, not only is this 7 layers of fucking funny, alright? This is a 7-layer joke. But they actually made him a baby. Get it? He's a Nepo baby? He's a Nepo baby of Napoleon? No? God, this is the funniest fucking picture I've ever seen. I could be wrong. I get that he's supposed to be, like, drooling, but I would not be surprised if that's, like, if that's actually supposed to be jizz. I wouldn't put it past me. But yeah, AFD as the diaper. Yep. He's pissing himself also, by the way, if you didn't notice. I don't know what he's jumping over, but yeah, he's also pissing himself. His diaper is leaking. Holy shit. This was the funniest fucking thing ever. So I, for one, approve of the Napoleon. So we're gonna call him Elon anything. Napoleon is probably my favorite. Very, very funny. Very, very funny. Yeah, I think it's Trump jizz, but, you know, that's just my opinion. As an artist, that's my interpretation of The fact that a float in Germany got away with using a fucking swastika in their float is actually pretty impressive. I'm not gonna lie. Anyway, get away from the definitely not trans rats.
That, you know, so.
I do want to interrupt, but Secretary of State Rubio just come out, I think he tweeted today, he has accepted over 80% of your recommendations to shut down in USAID.
Right.
So your review and analysis was spot on.
Yes. So I think when people criticize, say, what Doge is doing, we say, well, which part specifically? Because we put all of the...
Which parts? Security issues. I'll be specific. Security issues. Your team, you're unregulated and you weren't voted for. Conflict of interest and constitutional violations. There you go. 4. Off the top of my head. And I'm Canadian. And I'm just some fucking goblin goobering around here, and even I recognize this shit.
The actions of the Doge team on the Doge.gov website and on the Doge handle on X. So we post the receipts. So it's like this action's been taken, this action's been taken.
The receipts they've posted are incorrect and have not been corrected. They said they saved $1 billion, or they added 3 extra zeros onto the end of something that were not only not verified but disproved. So that is incorrect.
So when we get criticism, we say, like, of what? Which line do you disagree with? Like which cost saving do you?
Oh, and by the way, the approval for Marco Rubio is not true, because we all found out that at a closed meeting, Marco Rubio was yelling at Musk for being fucking incompetent, and they got into a fight. So we know that statement that he just said is untrue. But again, this was posted on March 10th. And basically every day, this administration has some new fucking drama where shit's just falling apart all over the place. As a Canadian, I personally was concerned, and still am concerned to a degree, about, like, the fact that America is declaring war on Canada. Right? That talking about annexing us, attacking our economy, yada yada, etc., etc., etc. I can show you a post about it, actually. I'll pull that up too. The president of America is doing war with Canada right now, and finding excuses to try to escalate it further and further and further and further. There are things that, as a Canadian citizen, I am concerned about. The American military is very scary. That's a fact. They're not only between their own propaganda, but also just some of the facts of the matter of things to be concerned about. And this administration has done nothing but make that view seem less and less and less scary, because they are dismantling all of the things about America that made America so fucking powerful. RFK Jr. recently, today, that I just saw, posted it is targeting African American people in the military. Trans people, LGBTQ plus people are a major factor in the military. And then if you remove all of the African American people, or anybody who's not white enough, you're going to lose a massive portion of your military. That, and on top of cutting Medicaid, and on top of USAID, and on top of the treating your veterans like shit, which means who's going to want to join your military when you're treating your veterans like shit. On top of the military industrial complex is essentially fucked in the next, couple years, give or take. I don't think a war with Canada is going to stop like start tomorrow. Like boots aren't going to be on the ground tomorrow, but if it happens, by the time it happens, the American situation is going to be such a clusterfuck that you're going to be fighting yourselves before you're going to be fighting us. And if you're going to declare war with us, you're still going to be fighting yourselves. And then also literally everybody else. Like, who's going to back America in this war? Literally fucking nobody. So, like, huh? What? Anyway.
Disagree with. And then people usually can't think of any.
No.
You know, so
It's transparent line by line,
it's transparent line by line.
which is quite
That's just not
remarkable.
true.
Right. And so, and then with respect to the Treasury, for example, the two main recommendations we suggested, which have now been implemented, was that any payments going out of the Treasury, especially the Treasury's main payment computer, which is called PAM, things like Payments Account Manager or something like that, but it's like almost $5 trillion a year, so about $1 billion an hour, that the payments be coded with the congressional appropriation, and that there be an explanation for the payment. Very basic stuff. And just doing that, we estimate will save $100 billion a year.
You're not really, let me see if I get this right, particularly with Social Security, you're not really changing policy.
No, yes.
You're auditing the fiscal mechanisms to make sure that, you know, from point A gets to point B, and that's where it's supposed to get to.
How big is your team and how much you're getting paid to do this? How come nobody's asking that question? What is Elon getting? Is he volunteering? Like, that's not happening. So in what way and how is he being paid to do this? And how are those people being paid to do this? Because you want to talk about government waste.
Some cases it doesn't get there, or
He asked what the process is, and you'll notice he did not get an answer. They're just saying, oh, we're posting what we're doing. That's not transparent. Transparent line by line, and you can see it's all lies. Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
cases it may go over there, but that's it's not a policy exercise. You're not changing laws. You're just doing what any business would do in a profit and loss audit.
I think we're really what we're adding here is caring and competence, and there's a massive amount of fraud of basically people submitting Social Security numbers for Social Security benefits, unemployment, Small Business Administration loans, and medical, where those are fake Social Security numbers, or they've stolen somebody else's Social Security number, and we're trying.
That's not fake. That just means okay.
We're trying to put a stop to all of that, and that's the number which is estimated to be on the order of 10% of federal expenditures, which is, you know, half a trillion dollars.
A huge number.
I don't believe that. I want a citation for 10%. Show me 10%.
You're working with the agency heads. You're working with the cabinet secretaries.
Yes.
I saw Howard Lutnick was on TV yesterday saying you were partnering with them. Is that fair?
Yeah, what we do is in consultation with the cabinet secretaries and with their departments. So we're really trying to be sort of.
You make a good point. He's not changed any of the laws, but he's violating them. Yes, absolutely.
We'll refer to ourselves as tech support. You know, we're really helping the department get a handle on things, because
you know what tech support doesn't do? Finances. Tech support isn't there to do what you're saying you're doing. That's not tech support. If you were fixing some programs in the fucking government, fine. Like, I would still be uncomfortable with it because I don't trust Elon Musk as far as I can fucking throw him to actually do something proper with proper security. As you can see, the hacking of Twitter, for example, not like that day, I wouldn't trust him. But if like his job was to be like, hey, we're going to make the government more efficient by making these websites easier to follow and understand, and taking some of these programs and updating them to make them easier to follow and transferring all that over, Sure, fine. You know what that would be? Time. It'd be exhausting. It would take a lot of fucking time, it would take a lot of resources, and it would take a lot of fucking money. And here's the thing. How come the review of these things and cutting them and their justification for them being cut is so short? Do you not think it would take a long time to sort through and organize and investigate every fucking social security account to figure out which ones are legitimate and which ones are actually fraud? And which ones are, oh, there was an oversight, so we're going to then do this process to remove it. And that if you were being transparent, your process to figure out and justify and your process for investigation would be, we would know what it is. And instead of just cutting vast swaths of things with your chainsaw, tech support doesn't require access to PII. Yeah, go figure.
What actually happens here is you've got this sort of vast federal bureaucracy, and then you've got a very thin layer on top of the politically appointed officials. And what tends to happen is that the bureaucracy, frankly, is in control. And they largely ignore the politically appointed people.
Why should the bureaucracy?
Such as you ignoring the Constitution?
Like, yeah, you must have seen that.
I've lived with this twice. I worked for Reagan many years ago, and I worked for Trump in the first term.
Yeah.
And you should be fucking ashamed of yourself.
Like a permanent bureaucracy. I might add, it's a permanently liberal bureaucracy.
Yes, very much so.
And it doesn't, it's not a bureaucracy that necessarily enforces or implements presidential policy.
They don't. In fact, they try their best to thwart presidential policy. So the president is the elected representative of the people.
That's called a check and balance. It's supposed to be there. That's intentional.
And if the president cannot get things implemented as a reflection of the will of the people, then what we have is not a democracy, we have a bureaucracy. We have rule of the bureau, not rule of the people. And that's what we're trying to defeat here is the bureaucracy and have rule of the people.
And that is actually what the American people voted for. That is what they voted for. They voted for this type of thing. Congratulations on your monarchy, America. I hope you're happy with it, because there's reasons why revolutions happen. And now my next question is to you, how long are you going to remain a monarchy before your peasantry rises up to overthrow it?
You know, and as you mentioned, the bureaucracy is overwhelming.
Billy Madison would bully you.
Overwhelmingly Democrat. So Washington, D.C. was 92.5%, I believe, voted for Kamala. So this is overwhelmingly a deep blue situation.
How do you pick your next...
That's the state... Never mind. No, don't care. He's just a fucking idiot.
targeted agency or department?
Well, we're trying to act broadly across all departments, so it's not just one department at a time.
Are you in all of them now? All of them?
Pretty much, yeah.
Yes. Oh.
We're trying to make the government more efficient across the board. So yeah.
How big's your team?
We're a little over 100 at this point.
100.
Get to 200.
You're going to get to 200.
Yeah.
Okay. And you're recruiting from where? More or less.
Basically, it's a software.
That's a good question.
People, information security software people, and finance. You know, it's basically, yeah, finance and technology,
From where, though? Finance and technology is very, very, very fucking broad. When you say finance and technology, what are you talking about? Are you talking about security? Are you talking about what? What are you talking about?
I mean, frankly, I can't believe I'm here doing this. It's kind of bizarre, but I kind of think that we've got this enormous federal budget deficit, and it's a $2 trillion deficit. It keeps growing. Our interest payments are higher than our Defense Department budget. That's I think was the real wake-up.
Why hasn't the military been cut then yet? You've only cut the veterans. What are you talking about?
For me was looking at seeing that the interest payments to national debt exceeded the Defense Department budget, and that was only growing over time, which meant if we didn't do something about this, then there won't be any money for anything. We'll just be.
There is a problem that I think the American people don't understand, and I don't know how many Canadians grasp this either, so I'm just going to briefly take a moment of your time. You do not run a government the way that you run your household budget. Debt for a country is not inherently a bad thing, the same way debt for a business is not inherently a bad thing. All right? Same even in your household. Having a debt is not necessarily a bad thing, but you do not run your household budget the same way you run a government budget. You're not printing money at your house, are you? You can't sell bonds for your house, can you? No, you can't. And you don't. Because you're not a government. Debt for a government is a massive, massive, massive different thing. And here's the thing. And the conservatives in Canada are the same way as the Republicans in America. They run the deficit up every fucking time. The conservatives in Canada were in power for like a decade, and they ran the debt up to $138 billion, which for us is a lot. The Trudeau government brought that down to $64 billion. They didn't get rid of it, but they brought it to $64 billion, which is a lot more manageable. I think it's billion. I hope it's not trillion. It might be trillion instead. I don't remember which. I'm pretty sure it's billions, but maybe I'm wrong. So if it's trillions, it's trillions. If it's billions, it's billions. Regardless, the disparity is the same. Makes no difference. The point being that this is what happens every fucking time. This fiscal conservatives are not fucking fiscally responsible at all, ever, and have not been in forever. There's just this image that people have in their head that, oh, the conservatives are fiscally responsible. They're conservative with their money. They're fucking not. Every time they have been in power in my entire life, they have always driven the debt up. They have always spent more money. They cut shit and still manage to have less money. The carbon tax in Canada that everybody's fucking angry about, even though it's working, was implemented by a conservative government. This administration is already costing the American people, not the American government, not the American businesses, the American people, billions of dollars. Billions of dollars. Poof, gone. Just fucking gone. Because you know what these people haven't fucking said? Where are they gonna put the money? They're cutting these, which means now if they cut it, this money now exists and is floating around, right? Because the money was already there. Where's it going? Where's all the money that's being cut going? They haven't said shit about that. So what do you think they're gonna do with it? They're taking food out of your children's mouths. To do what?
Be servicing debt.
And you know how to read an income statement, and you know how to read a balance sheet. You've had some business experience.
I don't think he knows how to read.
but
Yeah.
you know about this stuff.
Yeah, I mean, really, I just don't want America to go bankrupt.
So it's a call to action. You're hearing a call to action.
Yeah.
You giving up your other stuff? I mean, how are you running your other businesses?
With great difficulty. Yeah, I mean,
But there's no turning back, you're saying.
I'm just here trying to make government more efficient, eliminate waste and fraud, and so far we're making good progress, actually. So our savings at this point exceed $4 billion a day.
And that is just not true. Elon Musk alone gets 8 million. So, if he really, really, really wanted to cut those things and cut government spending, he should cut his own projects and actually be a good businessman and do business. Tesla stock. Where is it? Let's take a look. $237. That, what he just said is what I wanted to get to. Elon is not untouchable. Again, I'll just put it back for just a second. Listen to him.
Yeah, I mean,
But there's no turning back.
yeah, I mean, really, I just don't want America to go bankrupt.
So it's a call to action. You're hearing a call to action.
Yeah.
You giving up your other stuff?
Sorry, really quick. You don't want America to go bankrupt, so you brought Donald Trump, the guy who's notorious for bankrupting literally fucking everything he touches, and it's gonna be Elon Musk that's gonna help him, the guy who literally can't survive in his businesses without fucking, first off, bullshitting, and second off, sucking off at carbon. Like, Tesla hasn't been profitable for a long time. It makes its money off of selling carbon credit. It doesn't make its money off of selling cars. Its stock was only so high was because of the idea that Elon Musk was selling to people, that there was going to, in the future, that he was going to be revolutionizing things, and that hasn't come to fruition. So Tesla itself isn't even profitable. And most of the shit that he's produced is stuff that he's just appropriated. His own father is like just obviously forever disappointed in him. Like, I don't understand. You want to not go bankrupt, so you've hired so America got the two most fucking fraudstery, bullshittery fucking people they could find to do that? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, really, I just don't want America to go bankrupt.
So it's a call to action. You're hearing a call to action.
Yeah.
You giving up your other stuff? I mean, how are you running your other businesses?
With great difficulty. Yeah, I mean,
But there's no turning back, you're saying.
I'm just here trying to make government more efficient.
He is fucking miserable. Understand, there are two things going on here that I just want to be really. Isn't the Canadian government looking into Tesla dealerships overclaiming EV credits? Yeah, there's an investigation into Tesla right now in Canada, where they claim to have sold a bunch of cars and got a bunch of credits like the day before the thing got, like a couple days before they canceled the program. And so there's an investigation into potentially insider trading and as well as potential into just straight up fraud. So I will see what that investigation ends up reaping. If anything, I hope the results ended up being more aggressive and Elon should be made an example of. But here's the thing that I want to just point out about what this interview tells us and why I'm trying to explain and try to emphasize that Elon is not untouchable. He cares that Tesla is doing poorly. He cares that he has no money, that he gets no money. He is afraid. He was afraid of Elon, of Trump, of Donald not winning the election. He knows that there are consequences, and he already expressed in that prior interview from 2 years ago that we looked at that he is afraid of being alone. He doesn't like when nobody likes him. He takes it personally. And he should take it personally because it is personal. Right now, the anger towards what's been going on is very directed at Elon Musk. People expressing how much they do not like him and being aggressive and clear about that affects him. And if it affects him, it affects Donald. If it affects Elon, it affects the agencies. And we know for a fact that he is vindictive. And we know for a fact that capitulation doesn't work. You do not negotiate with terrorists. You cannot placate a narcissist. You can't give Donald Trump exactly what he wants because he'll just come up with some other excuse to do whatever he wanted to do in the first place. They're just going to keep doing whatever they want to do. Elon Musk is not untouchable. It's just a matter of knowing how and where and what to do. Space Karen plans, if not already doing, to move funds offshore, but he has to try and sell Tesla in order to make more out of the alleged Tesla stock value. Well, that's why I think Elon instigated Trump to try and destabilize Canada, because Canada is investigating him and he wants that to stop. No, the investigation started after. The investigation into this, I believe, started after the election. But I do think that Elon wants Canada destabilized. The main reason why America and Elon would want Canada destabilized is because of how much of a problem Canada is for Russia, both on its own and also via Ukraine. So, like, the amount that Canada has actually done for Ukraine is way more than I think people realize, particularly when it comes to, like, our military. People foo-foo the Canadian military, but yet they call us. Everyone calls us for everything all of the time. So our military is nothing to be sneezed at. Our capabilities when it comes to military operations and capabilities, particularly in various types of warfare, and like with our broad knowledge and capabilities are not to be sneezed at. But I mean, even Canadians make fun of the Canadian military. It's also like it's very like on the nose for Canadians to make fun of our military and be like, "Oh, our equipment's so old." Like, that's the meme. Meanwhile, we fucking would still do trench warfare. Like, if it ain't broke, we don't fix it. You know what I mean? The to-do list. Don't make us get the list. We'll go get our to-do list. But alas. I digress. Elon Musk is not untouchable, and the attacks, quote unquote, on Tesla, like by attacks I mean the protests. And this brings me back to my question: how much are you able to hit somebody before they hit you back? Is property damage considered violent? And to what degree is property damage considered violent? I think that property damage is generally considered violent, right? You're destroying something, you're wrecking something. That's considered violent. But where does it fall if you say that I tagged your car with paint that you can clean off, and Elon Musk is killing people where does this fall in the hierarchy of violence? But alas, we know, unfortunately, and this is again, we're back to the American system being the problem, that the American system, the structures, the law, values property equal or more than human life. You don't want the Canadian Army to get their elbows out, because if that happens, ellipses, yeah. And Feline says, and know the kindest people can also be the scariest people you will ever meet if you're getting seriously on their bad side. And we know how kind the Canadians are. Well, like I said earlier, which I think Feline missed, there's another half to the elbows out, and it's the over the boards. So we'll see what that looks like. I have one more thing to show you guys. I have one more thing to talk to you guys about. I just really wanted to demonstrate to you and maybe give you a little bit of hope that, like, Elon's not untouchable. He's actually just kind of a gigantic fucking baby person. And you can probably just bully him. You know what I mean? Like, you can probably just bully him, is all I'm saying. Alright. And this is why I wanted to, because I said earlier that Donald Trump is declaring and has been declaring war on Canada, and this is particularly what I wanted to look at. This is a screenshot from Truth Social, and this is from Donald. It says, based on Ontario, Canada placing a 25% tariff on electricity coming to the United States, I have instructed my Secretary of Commerce to add an additional 25% tariff to 50% on all steel and aluminum coming into the United States from Canada, one of the highest tariffing nations anywhere in the world. So Canada is now allegedly one of the highest tariffing countries in the world. We'll see. I'm not sure about that one. But the 25% that Ontario added was not a tariff. It was a surcharge, and it was retaliatory, but okay. This will go into effect tomorrow morning, March 12th. So as you are aware that the timing of this. Also, Canada must immediately drop their anti-American farmer tariff of 250% to 390% on various U.S. dairy products. Okay, and we are back to extrapolated misinformation based off of some true information. So there is a massive tariff on dairy goods from America in Canada, but only if the export exceeds a certain amount. And America has never exceeded the amount. So this tariff has never actually been in play on the board. And it was part of the negotiations that Trump did in his last term. This was a tariff that Trump negotiated. So no, absolutely not. Which has long been considered outrageous. Then why did you negotiate it, you goomba? America has never even gotten close to exceeding the amount. Correct. It's never happened. This is a tariff in writing and in writing only, and it's simply to protect the American dairy industry and the Canadian dairy industry. That's what it's for. That's a tariff that protects American dairy farmers and protects Canadian dairy farmers. That's all it is. I will shortly be declaring a national emergency on electricity within the threatened area. This will allow the US to quickly do what has to be done to alleviate this abusive threat from Canada. So is it a threat or is it already in place? Declaring a national emergency against Canada enables military action, to be clear, and enables the Donald and the Americans and the ICE program to start arresting Canadians that are over the border, Canadian citizens. Just to be clear, that's a thing they can do under emergency military powers that can be enacted. Just to be clear, so you know. All right? And if you add in the Trump derangement syndrome stuff they're also trying to do, good luck to people like Mike Myers. I will. This will allow the United States to quickly blah 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 threat blah blah blah. If other egregious long-time tariffs are not likewise dropped by Canada, I will substantially increase on April 2nd the tariffs on cars coming into the US, which will essentially permanently shut down the automobile manufacturing business in Canada. That's gonna shut down the automobile industry in America. Based on travel advice, I will not be in Ottawa in May. My visit to Canada and purchases will be limited to, well, I am being allowed by car in the nearby BC border area. I'm sorry. Hey, you can buy Canadian still on your side of the border. My understanding is that Canada carefully regulates its dairy to meet its own needs and minimizes what it exports anyway. Yes, correct. Our food regulations in Canada are different than the regulations in America. I might be mistaken in this, and maybe this is my misunderstanding, so please correct me if I'm understanding this wrong. A lot of American products that come over the border that are grocery and food specifically do not reach our standards. That's why you see the Fruit Loops having different ingredients in Canada versus America. Or why if you go to A&W in America and A&W in Canada, they're vastly different things. Part of that is because they're different businesses, but it doesn't matter. McDonald's, for example. Any of these chain restaurants are because our standards are different. That applies to dairy. Yeah, EU standards as well. Yes. Blah, 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 other egregious long-time tariffs that he signed on for. So he's violating his own trade agreement, which is, but violations of trade agreement are generally followed up by war. That is not uncommon. Take Germany and Russia, for example. Take Germany and Ukraine, for example. Sorry, not Germany and Ukraine. Russia and Ukraine, for example. Again, these are violations. These are illegal, and he doesn't care. Which is indicative. Those cars are easily made in... Those cars can easily be made in the USA. They are. The automotive industry is incredibly tied between Canada, Mexico, and America. It's going to destroy the automotive industry. Which, you know... Let's build trains. We can just have less cars. Maybe this is going to accidentally be great. I don't know. I hope that Canada spends a lot of time and money and work investing in our infrastructure. One of those things being cars and trams and shit. That'd be great. Build our cities around that instead of building around individual cars. That'd be a good way to shift the market. Just saying. Also, Canada pays very little for national security. That is not true. And Canada has been increasing its total amount. Relying on the United States for military protection. Dairy stores in our area have dual cash registers to take Canadian dollars. The stores have dual pricing due to the USD and a CAD currency ratio. That's interesting. I have heard that there are Canadian stores that are that are close to the border that stopped taking American money. Love that Denmark and Norway said no to the egg bailout. Yep, nobody's gonna help America. We are subsidizing Canada to the tune of more than $200 billion a year. No, you're not. That's just not true. The Canadian and American military have worked together for generations. This is not a thing that's happening. America on its own decided to have a bloated as fuck budget. That's your decision. It's not on us to match your bloated as fuck budget. Why? This cannot continue. Yes, this thing that's not happening needs to stop. The only thing that makes sense is for Canada to become our cherished 51st state. This is a declaration of war. This is propaganda that is lying to the American people to convince them that Canada is an enemy. Here's the thing. If you're subsidizing Canada, and Canada is so bad and costly for you that you want to pull out of all these deals, why would you want us to join? That would be taking on more burden, you fuck nugget. It would mean that you'd be taking on more fucking... Canada is a key part of NORAD. Yes, exactly. Tell me you don't know what a trade deficit is without telling me you don't know what a trade deficit is. It'll make a 50K vehicle worth 100K. Yeah, that's already happened. You're already adding a zero, at least 1 0 to every, like you're moving 1 decimal place to every fucking car. And that's already happening. Why do I recall historic pictures of Canada and America border control with the hats and outfits on horses and whatnot? Like, yeah. This is propaganda designed to enrage and frustrate and confuse the American people to convince them that Canada is an enemy, to justify the tariffs that Trump is using to destabilize government agencies and businesses within America so they can be overtaken by oligarchs and privatized in ways that the American people do not want, as well as to destabilize the Canadian people and the Canadian economy and try to turn us into enemies. This is war. This is warfare that is already happening. It is information warfare and it is economic warfare. And this is indication of escalation. That's all this is. And pretending it's something other than that is foolish in my humble opinion. And if the American people do not want this, they need to do things about it. You cannot rely on Canada to mitigate Trump for you. Canada has done a lot to mitigate dictators. Canada will continue to do a lot to mitigate people like Putin. We can't change your government for you. You need to do that. Maybe, depending on what happens, you're gonna end up with like a North versus South situation again. And maybe you'll be able to solicit Canada for assistance depending on your state. But that's up to you. You gotta do what you gotta do. Blah, blah, blah. This would make all tariffs and everything else totally disappear. Fuck off. You don't get to negotiate with something that you're... Again, we don't negotiate with terrorists. You're asking us for fucking... You're asking us for protection money, you fucking mob racket. Get the fuck out of here. Canadian taxes will be very substantially reduced, and we'll lose our healthcare and our infrastructure, etc., etc. They will be more secure, militarily and otherwise, I don't believe that for a second, than ever before. There would no longer be a northern border problem. The only northern border problem we have is you. America tracks fentanyl into Canada, not the other way around, motherfucker. And the greatest and most powerful nation in the world will be bigger, better, and stronger than ever. If we are a detriment, then adding us would not make us not a detriment all of a sudden. And Canada will be a big part of that. Then I guess we're great and you want us. I thought you said we don't need their cars, we don't need their lumber, we don't need their aluminum, but you want us to be part of your country? You know there are territories in America that have desperately been trying to become states for a long time and you won't let them? Maybe those territories should consider their options. The artificial line of separation drawn many years ago will finally disappear. Really? The guy who ran on borders being so important wants to erase the Canadian border? This is a declaration of fucking war. Our borders aren't real. Our prime minister is a governor. Our country is worthless. We should join them. We're gonna annex you. We're gonna continue attacking your and destabilizing your economy. Do not fucking make any mistake about this. This is war rhetoric. This is a declaration of war. And this is what the American people voted for. And this is something that Canadians need to understand. I know we're already on board for the most part when it comes to our elbows up situation, but we need to understand that this is already in the works. This is something that's already happening. This is something that is already like an issue. Like, this is being stated now. So do not be surprised, and be sure that you are prepared 2 years from now, 4 years from now, 6 years from now, when they circumvent the Constitution and rip it enough to shreds that Trump gets a third term, which is something, again, they're also already talking about. Do not pretend that this is not happening and that this rhetoric isn't exactly what it is. Whatever the mainstream media is trying to tell you, oh, Canada needs to relax on its language. Motherfucker! Suck my dick. I would tell you to suck an egg, but that would be too expensive for you. Fucking border is artificial. Tell that to the people living in Windsor and the people living in Detroit. The artificial line of separation drawn many years ago will finally disappear, and we will have the safest and most beautiful nation anywhere in the world. Hey, Americans, how safe do you feel right now? How safe do you feel? LGBTQ plus people in America, do you feel safe right now? Veterans. Military veterans. Do you feel safe right now? People on Social Security? Do you feel safe in America right now? Does America feel like a safe place to you? Farmers that are losing your subsidies. Does America feel safe to you? Do you feel safe right now? I'd be surprised if you did. How about people who are traveling to America? Anybody who is thinking about traveling to America, do you think America is a safe place to travel to right now? What about anybody who's going to school there? You guys feel safe? What about people that are doing journalism? The people who are studying journalism who have been told by professors to not write about certain things because you aren't safe from this administration. Do you feel safe right now? The ditch is not artificial. Yeah. It's a pre-dug trench. I don't think people feel safe. And I don't think, even if this were to happen, I don't think Canadians would feel safe either. Because we would just be another outsider group inside of your fucking punishment system. I feel like my life is in danger due to the current administration. Yeah, sounds about right. And your brilliant anthem, O Canada, will continue to play, but now representing a great and powerful state. Are you fucking kidding me? Like, within the greatest nation that the world has ever seen. This is invasion talk. This is war speech. This is dictatorship style. I think you would be a fool to ignore it. I think that I think that people didn't feel safe in America already, and I think this is just going to exacerbate that. So, elbows up, everybody. The border ditch. You want me to share the pictures, Landon? It do be the way it is. People may need to actually look up speeches from the 30s and the 1930s and 1940s. Yeah. At this point, I don't expect to see the next year due to local violence. Yikes. Yeah, local violence is also a thing. Yes, share the pictures? All right, yeah. Yeah. Ta-da! It's our preemptive trench. And there's the other photo. Zero Avenue, Canada border on the United States side. What have I said about those claiming and boasting to be an advocate of truth? They are always liars. Truth Social. Yeah. Also, court hearing in 5 minutes to see if Trump administration can say, yeah, no thanks to binding court orders. Yeah, we'll have to see how that goes. I was going to talk about some, like Rennell Aaron stuff today, but, like, we spent enough time just chatting about this, so I'll be back. I don't know if I'm going to be back tomorrow, because there's, like, just so much going on. I do have Debate Hub will have a live on the 22nd on Saturday. Seamus is going to join me. We're going to be talking about, are centrists embarrassed yet? Because modern centrism is not exactly centrist. But yeah, I have a couple of things to look at. Somebody watched me for 8 hours, not drinking, and then asked if I was drunk. I thought that was very funny. Kind of embarrassing. I was going to talk about that today, but we got caught up in politics. Which, is kind of more important, to be fair. I do want to end on one thing, though, about all this Nazi stuff going on. You guys remember when I did a video showing that, like, the people following the company were a bunch of fucking Nazis? And then Rennell came out and said, hey, why are you attacking Nazis? You should care about their feelings. And I said, wow, you know what you sound like? A Nazi. Well, it's been about half a year, and she's never said she's not a Nazi. So same as Elon, not denying it. So we're back to this MAGA issue of you're Nazis, and you're mad that people are treating you like fascist Nazis because you're fascist Nazis. Like, get the fuck out of here. There was a Canadian, let me see if I can pull it up. Hold on. Let me see if I can pull it up. There was a Canadian that I saw a video of where one of these fascist propaganda machines were asking Canadians on the street what their thoughts were. And they got straight just called out immediately. Let me see if I can find it. One second. Please hold. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Damn it! Where is it? I'll find it. Hold on. Please hold. I know. I'm dragging this out. Uh... Um... No. Let's see. Oh, present. I'm German, and I'm worried, but I think if they happen, the midterms, I think the Democrats will win big. If not, then I hope. Yeah, that's what's left then. Yeah, I hope the Democrats get their shit together too. I agree with. I'm on the same page as you. Absolutely 100% on the same page. Sorry, give me a second to find this. I know. I apologize. I wasn't gonna play this, and so I didn't think about it. I don't think it was in a short. Was it? It wasn't yesterday, was it? No. No. I'm pretty sure it was just like on... Sorry, my frustration must be audible. I have to check the bad place. Elmo's World. Elmo's World. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Oh my god, the number of South Park memes blame Canada is pretty funny. Here it is. I found it. I found it! I'm sorry, I had to go to the bad place. I had to go to the bad place because that's the only place I can find the video. I apologize. All right, there we go.
Our message on our truck.
I think it's appalling. I think you should be ashamed of yourself.
For which reason?
Because you're fascists. Rebel News is a fascist organization.
You don't think that he should disclose his relationship with a convicted sex trafficker?
He's standing beside someone.
No, I've been seeing also another photo hanging out in the grass.
You should be ashamed of yourself. Get away from me.
No, but like, you don't think that he should actually be accountable of certain things that he did? He's the prime minister now.
What did he do?
Just answering the question to disclose the relationship, that's it.
I know what Rebel News is. I have no respect for you. It's yellow journalism. Turn the camera off.
You don't know even who I am. So you're ready to just call names to someone? Thank you for the finger. You did a finger to me and called me a fascist. What?
Yeah. Welcome to Canada. We are not interested. This is a man in Ottawa, allegedly. Yeah. You're not welcome. We don't want you here. And fuck off forever. Don't come back. You're a fascist propaganda machine. Everybody in Canada fucking knows it. And nobody with any integrity wants anything to do with you. You trying to fucking push some fucking narrative completely unironically when your guy is on the fucking list, the Epstein list, that you were supposed to be released. Hey, you guys remember that the Epstein list, with like the full files were supposed to be declassified and put out by the Trump administration? And that they said they had it on their desk? And then we don't have it anywhere. All we have is a bunch of fucking right-wing lunatics getting a hold of a binder of victims full of information we already had, waving it around like a prop because victims in sex trafficking are a prop to these fucking people? You know, after they invited over and brought over and rescued Andrew and Tristan Tate? Yeah, these guys? Are you fucking serious? Yeah, fuck off. No thank you. She's lucky she didn't get milkshaked. Yeah. Chesh over here selling me on the idea of immigrating to Canada. Listen, if you're going to come to Canada and you're coming from America, you better fucking get on it like right the fuck now. Because you're running out of time quickly. That, to me, that man had a perfect answer. I know what you are. You're fascists and you should be ashamed of yourselves. Period. End of. Oh, you want to call names? Bitch. Bitch. We know we're not interested. A lot of these things have been exposed as fucking Russia props anyway. Get fucked. And that's how I hope all of these things get handled. Yeah, the way I saw this, by the way, was somebody retweeting it called Canada Resistors that says, this guy is right, you're a fucking fascist, a fucking enemy to this country, and you should be ashamed of yourself. These young girls were victims of Jeffrey Epstein, and you're using them as a weapon against somebody that has nothing to do with it. You're a disgusting piece of shit. Yep. Anyway. That's it from me. I'm gonna get out of here. Thank you so much for joining me. This has been it's been a stream. Thanks for joining me. I don't know if with conclusion to come to. I might be back either tomorrow or Wednesday. I'm not sure. I'm still sussing some stuff out, and we'll see. But I will be back soon. I hear Mars likes fascists. Yeah, I mean, you know, there's a German saying. If there's a Nazi at the table and 10 other people are sitting there talking to him, then you're at a table with 11 Nazis. Yeah, and support of Trump is equivalent to Nazis at this point. That's what it is. So thanks so much for joining us. I still need to go over some Steve shit. Don't worry, I'll get to it. It's either going to be this week or next week. I just don't know which. Because I want to talk about this right-wing pipeline of, like, pretending you're being normal while saying the most unhinged fucking shit you've ever seen. Especially with the irony that, like, Steve's been calling out, like, DEI hires, but Steve is a DEI hire. He's a veteran. So I don't think he noticed. So I'm gonna goof on that. Maybe that day we'll talk about Renell and Aaron, but it is not this day. So I'll be back soon. Join Debate Hub. Go follow and like over there. The new @ is Debate Hub Official, and look for some stuff there. We're gonna be like kicking into high gear in the next coming weeks over there. So thank you so much for joining me. I'm gonna get out of here. Bye. God.
No, we're not answering
Why?
questions. Get out
Why?
of the car.
Why?
Because you're a Trump supporter.
I know, but don't you guys want our money?
No, actually we don't. Get out of my bar right now.
You're not welcome.
I'm not fucking around. Get out of my bar.
Are you serious?
I'm dead serious. Out.
Because I'm wearing a Trump
Yes.
vest. That's wild.
I don't care. Get out.
We can call the police or you can just leave.
You know this is like discrimination, right?
Oh, boo-hoo!